Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, we are here today to do a very light update to our hardest project pan that we are doing. This is my year-long project pan. I had really tried and hoped to be able to update you on all of my project pans within the month of May while I was taking like a little bit of a break, but it just wasn't able to happen. I only got to like upload 2 videos, I think. So I'm giving you this very late update now, and then you will see an update for this again at the end of the month so that we can keep on schedule with everything. But anyway, hardest project pan. So this is something that I just started to do in January 2022, and I really wanted to pick harder makeup items to focus in on for the whole year and kind of give myself that push to use up some more challenging things. So like I've picked out various items that I deem challenging. It's really such a subjective term, just in case you wanted to follow along. But like things like a blush, a bronzer, or like a loose powder, you know, I have an eyeshadow in here now. So it's just harder items that would take me, like, it wouldn't fit to put them in like a shorter style project pan. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's enough of an introduction, I think. I always leave everything in the description box though for you guys, just in case you have any questions. But also the comment section is open, and that is where you can also ask questions. Okay, so let's start with rollouts. I do have one rollout for this update, and I'm pretty excited about that. So this is something that has been in since the beginning. This is a little empty pan, as you can see. This was the Natasha Denona Diamond Bomb powder. This did come as like a duo compact. So it was the highlighter and then a blush. I guess I finished off the blush sometime in my life because I no longer have it. But anyway, the highlighter is done and gone. So if you will recall, I think this had pan on it when I first rolled it in January, and then the pan kept expanding, but the product started to crumble. So I asked you guys, like, what should I do? Should I try to repress this or just crush it up and make it loose? And the majority like suggestion was to just crush it up and use it as a loose highlighter. So I transferred it into this compact. This is the one that I have been showing you guys. This is empty. So I will say I got a little bit like, I guess, frustrated with this product. It wasn't going as fast as I wanted it to because I really thought that this would not be empty by the June update. I thought that this little highlighter would be empty by like March, maybe April. So I was just like kind of hitting the wall with it. So how I ended up finishing this off is that I actually mixed it in with the loose powder that's here in this project. I didn't like dump it into the container of the Too Faced powder. I just like made a little concoction within the lid, used what I needed, and then did it again the next day, you know? So I made like a glowy, glittery, like all over face finishing powder, we will say, using this highlighter, and that's how I was able to finish it off so quickly. And I'm really glad that I did that. Like I needed that. I needed to finish something off within this project pan. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I was hitting the wall. So this is done. Really excited about that. And that is a highlighter out of my inventory. Okay, so let's talk about items with progress. Now, before we get right into it, I do want to say, I kept saying like, oh, I didn't have a lot of makeup days. But the numbers might seem like, Haley, you did have a lot of makeup days. Just keep in mind that this update was filmed late, and so I've had like extra days, you know, since like, I'll say life got a little less chaotic like around May 25th, and I was able to go back to wearing makeup as much as I have. So anyway, this is the Too Faced Born This Way Translucent Loose Setting Powder. I think this has been in since the beginning, but I could be mistaken. It might have come in at the first update. Either way, I'm gonna bring it in. I did not mark a new line yet on this product, but that darker, like more orange line is where it started out at. And so we were really at the widest point of this container. And then there's like a fainter golden line that is where we were at the last update. And then hopefully you can see like where the powder has settled within the package. Like I said, I will mark this after I film this, and I'll put up a picture over here just so I make sure that you guys can see where we're at with this. I will say I'm really proud and like happy with the amount of progress that I have made on this, but this is an item that I thought would be done by this update because it's a loose setting powder. It's the only loose setting powder that I'm choosing to use and focus in on right now. So it's just a little bit like, I guess, eye-opening, like, oh, you don't go through that as quickly as like you thought you did, but it also makes sense to have it in this project pan then because, hello, it is a harder item. So either way, this is going to stay in. I'm hoping to maybe be done with this by the end of August is like my new soft goal or like my new prediction. All right, let's talk about our two blushes that come from this very reflective packaging. This is the Hourglass Ambient Light Edit 3 palette, I think. So I had already finished off the two finishing powders, the strobing powder and the bronzer within this palette before the year started. And so that was the biggest reason why I put this palette into this project pan, because I just have two little itty bitty pans of blushes. All those are gonna be so easy to finish off, and then this palette will be done. They have not been that easy to finish off. So this darker purple one here is Surreal Halo. This one has been like my go-to daily blush. I am not kidding when I say I have worn this most every time that I do my makeup. I think I have maybe taken 1 to like 5 days off from wearing it since the beginning of this year. And like I said, I'm getting a little bit burnt out of it. I do have it on today, but I have it mixed with the other one, which is Pure Effect, this lighter, more like punchy pink blush. And I have to say, I am not quite sure if I even stand a chance of using up this pink blush this year, because it's so like bubblegum or like baby doll pink, and it's just not a shade that I'm really gravitating towards. Right now, I do like mixing them together. So even though this is really far off in the future, once I do finish the darker purple Surreal Halo, I'm going to search through my collection and find a shade that is similar to this that I can pair with the Pure Effect shade and still get use out of this and actually try to finish this off. However, I do not foresee that I'm going to be able to actually finish off this palette by the end of this year. I'm going to keep it in. We're going to keep going with it. Like, I do want to see how much progress I can make on it. If anything, I think I have a pretty good chance of clearing out most of this pan of blush, but I'm not sure at this point. So I'm going to bring this in for you guys. It's kind of like unexciting to look at this because it's just a domed like product. I haven't been taking progress pictures of it, but hopefully maybe if I hold it this way, you can kind of tell just how flat that darker shade is in comparison to the lighter shade. I don't know like how close we are to hitting pan on that. That's when I'll start taking progress pictures, because then you'll actually be able to follow along and see a difference in the product. But hopefully by the next update, even though it's gonna be like a shorter amount of time, hopefully I can have pan at least in this shade for you guys. Okay, so let's talk about our bronzer. This is from Physicians Formula. This is the Butter Bronzer in the shade Bronzer, if I'm not mistaken. I tried to depot this, and when I depotted it, my bronzer cracked. I was super upset about that, so I had to repress it. So I no longer have any pan to show for you guys, but that's kind of exciting. Like, in a way, it's made me want to continue to use this, because it's now like, okay, well now I have the goal to hit pan on it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're going to be working on. But I did have a really good, nice, sizable pan on this before it cracked and I needed to repress it. If I look at this like this way, kind of sideways, I can tell like repressing it, it did fill up the pan. Like, it's not like a super thin layer in there like you would expect, but I don't feel like this is going to be that challenging to finish off. My soft goal is to have this finished off hopefully by the time fall rolls around, because I do have another bronzer that I would like to try to finish off this year, like roll it in next once I finish this one off. And the other bronzer is a smaller one, so I think I can potentially finish these two guys off within the year. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep checking away on this. It is my daily go-to bronzer, and I really have like just zeroed in on it, and I haven't really played around with any other bronzers. Okay, let's talk about our highlighter that has been in since the beginning. So this is from Ofra. This is the Pillowtalk highlighter. Now I must say, I have mentioned like some of these items are really giving me like a run for my money, and I'm kind of overusing them. Like, I'm super frustrated. I am not frustrated with this Ofra Pillowtalk highlighter. It's the highlighter that I have on today. I do have it mixed with a highlighter from Uden's Eye though, and that's how I've really been getting a lot of use and enjoyment out of this highlighter. I will wear it on its own. It is a beautiful standalone shade, but it's also a highlighter that I can mix with other things and kind of get a little bit of a different color other than just like straight up pink. And so it keeps it fun and exciting. And I don't know, it's just, I love this highlighter so much that it's not a chore to use. So this is like the only thing that I'm not like upset about. Hopefully the ring light doesn't wash it out too much, but it probably will. I don't have the best lighting in this room. So I will put up like some comparison photos over here for you guys. I was trying really hard to hit side pan down here, and I wasn't able to meet that goal. However, I'm still going to like continue to focus my brush down in on here, and maybe by the end of this month we could actually hit side pan, because the product is getting pretty thin right there. But I have also noticed, if I'm not mistaken, I have expanded just the general overall pan even on like the sides of this up here. So yeah, really happy to be working on this. As we sit here right now, obviously I would go through my collection and see if I have any highlighters that fit the bill of the Ofra Pillowtalk highlighter. But if I didn't have any highlighters that match that one or give me like close enough vibes, I would go out and repurchase the Ofra Pillowtalk highlighter. And I think that's saying something, because like I've said in the past, at least for me personally, a lot of times when I use a product from start to finish, I don't really want to like repurchase it, but that would definitely be something that I would consider. Okay, so one more item to update you on. This is from ColourPop. This is the Super Shock Shadow in the shade Birthday Cake. I believe this was a limited edition shade. However, I feel like ColourPop does this where they'll bring back their limited edition or discontinued shades every once in a while, because this particular shadow isn't in like special packaging. It's just in the standard Super Shock Shadow packaging, so I must have picked it up at one of those like re-release times, we'll say. Either way, I believe this got rolled in last update, and I was a little bit hesitant to roll it in. I told you guys, like, I don't know, like I'm kind of overwhelmed with eyeshadows, and finishing off one of these is a chore, because even though this had pan on it at the like roll in for this, there's still like a ton of product in here. When you get them brand new, there's 2.1 grams of product. It's the same size as like a big eyeshadow from Natasha Denona. So you really are getting a lot of product. But I think I told you guys I made like the soft goal, like, well, if I can use it at least 5 times within the month, like I'll be happy. And if I'm not mistaken, I actually used it 6 times. So that's one more than the goal. And I really do think that I have a shot of potentially finishing this off this year, but I think it's going to be cutting it close. You know, like I think this will be done on like December 31st, and then we'll all be clapping our hands. So I'm going to bring this in. I don't know if you can see, I don't know how much difference, how much change there is with only like 6 uses on this from how it looked at the roll-in to now. But like I said, I'm quite happy with my progress. It's very thin, like around the edges here. So I think at a certain point, I am going to take like my little beauty tool and smush it all back into the center, just so that I'm not like at risk of any of it spilling over the sides or things like that. But yeah, it's still performing quite nicely. It's still very creamy, like I haven't had to rehydrate this or anything. So I am actually really glad that I rolled this in last time. Okay, so that makes for 6 items still in here. And I believe at my introduction, I said like, oh, I want to only keep it at 6 items. But I am going to roll in something else just because I need that variety. I need something new within this project pan, and I also want to keep it interesting for you guys. And I don't think that by rolling this particular product in, I will be stretching myself too thin with other things that I am panning. So we're going to keep it at 7 items. I am going to bring in another one of these mini lippies from Bite Beauty. Back in December for Christmas, my bestie gifted me a little 10 set from them, and there were 4 shades within that. And I kind of have this soft goal to finish them all off this year. I don't know if that's possible, but this will be the 3rd one that I am working on. Spoiler alert, I will tell you as we sit here today, I have not finished off the other 2 that I have in other projects, but I'm really close on one of them. So either way, rambling aside, this is in the shade Party Punch. Let me first show it to you. So when you get these little lippies, you can see like they're very much like pointed. They have like that nice tip to them. So this one I've only used like a handful of times, maybe 3 since being gifted that set. So this is how much product is left in there. I will of course mark it on the cap for you guys. And let me give you a swatch of it. So this is like a mid-tone kind of pinky shade, I would say, because the first shade that I rolled in was No Nino, which is what I have on today, and it's much more of like a vampy kind of purple brown shade. And then I have Virgin Daiquiri, which is like a lighter pink. So I wanted to roll this one in because sometimes I feel like the shade Virgin Daiquiri that I'm working on is a little too light. So I'm interested to see like if I put this down first, which I always feel like is a little bit too dark. If I put this one down first and then top Virgin Daiquiri off on top of it, and then maybe put on like a nude colored lip gloss, like is that gonna be a really nice lip color? So that's kind of my plan, my intention. I do though want to try and use this on its own a few times just because I feel like it is still a pretty shade, even though I feel like it's a little bit of a weird kind of darker pink shade for my particular complexion. But either way, that wraps it up. That wraps up this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know down in the comments below how well you are doing with all of your different project pans this year. I'm always super curious and I love to catch up with you guys in the comment section. So I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will catch you in the next one.